A healthy way to host a wine tasting. 1. A healthy way to host a wine tasting. www.iblamethuin.com. Follow on Twitter, #iblamethuin. Visit Facebook/iblamethuin. Or Google plus iblamethuin. 2015. A healthy way to host a wine tasting. 2. Introduction 3. Chapter 1, Pairing Principles 4. Chapter 2, Recipes for Reds 7. Chapter 3, Recipes for Whites 13. Chapter 4, Recipes for Rose 16. Chapter 5, Recipes for Sparkling Wines 22. Your Own Wine and Food Pairing Journey 27. A healthy way to host a wine tasting. 3. Introduction. Wine tasting is a sensory evaluation of a particular wine. It involves looking at the appearance, taste and smell. Professional tasters, called sommeliers, formally established the process in the 4th century. They have introduced constantly evolving niche terminologies to describe a wine's characteristics, including aroma and taste. These can be daunting sometimes. Not everyone is familiar with tannins, complexity and concentration. In professional wine tasting events, those sommeliers need to ensure there is no bias with regards to price, grape variety and geographic origin. That is why those tastings are blind. However, according to Professor Richard Wiseman, a wine expert from the University of Hertfordshire, most people could not tell the difference between cheap and expensive wine when blind tasting. Moreover, they cannot distinguish between French or Italian wines or different grape varieties. Do not worry though, in casual wine tasting, however, tasters do not need to be objective. The goal is to pair food with good wines and enjoy an evening as a sensory, but most importantly social experience. Wine had long been a dinner table staple in many countries, and in some cases, the process of winemaking and other culinary traditions have evolved together through the years. That is why you see Italian, quite fatty, dishes paired with relatively high in acidity wines. The acid cuts through fatty food, and the latter makes refreshing wines rounder and smoother. Wine and food pairing in the old days did not have set standards. Local dishes were merely paired with locally produced wine. Today, wine pairing takes on a new art form, wherein guidelines for pairing are in place. This does not need to be snobbish or pretentious. The main task for a successful food and wine matching is to ensure that key elements in both the food and wine complement each other, or as in some cases, contrast with each other. Modern experts believe that the basic technique is to understand the weight of both the food and wine, and be able to strike a balance between them. These weights can be similar or contrasting for as long as one does not overpower the other or diminish attractive others. This ebook is about a healthy way to a wine tasting. It means that apart from recipes, which were chosen to provide an interesting food and wine pairing, they were created with a view on nutrition and health, a wholesome approach. I welcome you to cook your meals from scratch, try and use the best possible ingredients, do it with care, and you will host an enjoyable wine tasting evening with your family, friends and loved ones. A healthy way to host a wine tasting. 4. Chapter 1, Pairing Principles. Before we move on to the actual recipes, you have to know some basic guidelines, so you can think about your own alternatives, and fully savor the experience. There is a lot of components that would determine how each wine is different from one another in terms of flavor. I will only state the main, the actual fruit, sugar, alcoholic strength, tannin levels, and acidity. A note about tannins: you sometimes have this coarse or mellow sensation on your gums, like you are drinking concentrated black or green tea. That would be similar to what people describe as tannic wines. They originate in grape skins and stone, so there aren't any in white wines, no skin contact, some in rose and normally an abundance in red ones. Key components of pairing. Food can be also described through its different components: sweetness, saltiness, bitterness, fattiness, acidity and texture. Sweetness. Sweet, sugary foods such as cakes and pastries may seem to be a no-brainer when it comes to pairing. They just need a sweet kind of wine. This may not always be the case, however, and this is where a general rule applies. You have to note that different food have different levels of sweetness. Some may just have a pinch of honey or sugar, such as mango sauce poured over a cut of beef. Its light natural sweetness very well complements Chardonnay, a white wine that has rich flavor. The higher level of alcohol in Chardonnay creates an impression of sweetness and neutralizes the sweetness in the fruit sauce. When it comes to sweet food, you have to ensure that the wine you are going to use is sweeter than the food. If not, that sweet food will overpower the sweetness of your wine and will make it appear tart. You should also be careful of red wine and chocolate combo. Most wine manufacturers often associate these two, but relative to the type of wine and chocolate, your pairing might end up terrible. Use pure, dark chocolate and a sweet type of red wine, i.e. port, for a delightful experience. Saltiness. Unlike sweet food, salty recipes are often thought of as limiting in terms of wine pairs. For instance, it can give Chardonnay a peculiar taste, dish the fruity flavor of a red wine, and render wines with high alcohol level bitter. However, there are also remarkable salty food and sweet wine combinations such as blue cheese and the French wine sautons. A healthy way to host a wine tasting. 5. There are some cases when just a touch of seasoning, though, may enhance flavor and reduce some abundant tannins. That is why you often see your steaks served with coarse salt. It will go as a treat with Bordeaux wines. Sparkling wines are the most appropriate type for salty or fried food. Much like beer, the carbonated and yeasty texture ushers the salt while creating other nuances of flavor. Saltwater foods such as oysters can also be complemented with sparkling wines to tame down the rich ocean flavor. Bitterness. Contrary to sweet wines that often cancel the sweetness of their food pair, bitter wines tend to intensify tartness when paired with bitter food. In winemaking, bitterness is due to use of not fully ripe grapes, or accidentally forgetting to separate stems and seeds from the grapes during fermentation. It can also be because of not well-maintained wine barrels. A word of caution: some people perceive bitterness as generally unpleasant, so be careful when using bitter wines. Fattiness. Most of the popular wine pairings, dairy and meat dishes included, have high fat content. Note that wine has zero level of fat, so depending on your food choice, choose something that can either temper the fat, level it down with tannin, or match its richness with the right alcohol content. A very good example is Cabernet Sauvignon paired with a medium rare cut of meat. The strong taste of the wine tames down the fat components of the meat. It conditions your palate for the fruity wineovers that go perfectly with the smoky and salty overs of the meat. Acidity. The level of acid is a rather crucial component of food and wine. In terms of wine, acidity adds a bit of a kick and a refreshing feel. You can describe the wine as abby, or too jammy if there is not enough acidity. The same is true for food. Imagine a squeeze of lemon on grilled sh. When choosing the perfect wine to combine with acidic food, it is important to gauge the acidity levels of the wine, since it must be equal to that of the dish. When the food is more acidic, it tends to wash out the taste of the wine, making it seem bland. Texture. This one is rather a given. The simple rule is that light wines go well with light food, and heavy wine complement heavy food. However, if you are feeling adventurous, you can try and play with contrasts, as long as the basic guidelines are followed. Your experimentation can yield truly surprising results and make your wine tasting as a dynamic experience. A healthy way to host a wine tasting. 6. You most probably know a thing or two about wines, maybe you even have a few favorite ones. You also have disagreed with some food and wine pairings. As a host, you might encounter various opinions about your combinations. Nonetheless, what you have to remember is that both food and wine are meant to be enjoyed, so just trust your judgment and prepare your combos in the best way that you can, i.e., source locally grown produce, buy organic wines and have your guests amazed how well these can go together. A healthy way to host a wine tasting. 7. Chapter 2 Recipes for Red Wine. Red wine was probably the first wine that you have tasted in any dining restaurant. It is a type of wine derived from dark-colored grapes painstakingly fermented to create a rich taste. The actual colors range from purple to ruby. These are most common in younger reds, and deeper garnet, for more mature ones. I have included some more information on www.iblamethuin.com about wine and its relation to health, but most of all remember about moderation. To help you decide on your pairing, below are some helpful hints. Some red grape varieties such as Cabernet and Syrah go very well with food. Avid with rosemary and pepper, they are more spicy, could be rich in herbal aromas or sweeter spices, in hotter climates. Fruity ones such as Grenache, Sangiovese and Gomery are a perfect pair for dishes with garlic and tomatoes. These varieties are known to be acidic as well, so think about tomato mozzarella sauce, fatty pieces of jamon or grilled tender lamb. The most difficult challenge to red wine pairing is having to match it with sweet or fruity sauces. The latter will mask beautiful fruit in red wines and thus should be very well thought through. Add other balancing elements, i.e., acidity to make it sweet and sour. Cheese and wine is a long-lived pairing, yet think about if it is salty or smoky. Soft and mellow, goat's cheese, or bold and thick, Dutch hard cheeses, and pair accordingly. Goat's cheese will go better with lighter-bodied reds, whereas pronounced cheeses need either a more mature wine, or entirely different approach with contrast. Think of very dry sherry or, in some cases, sweet and fruited wines. Here are recommended healthy recipes for red wine pairing to help you get started on a wine tasting night. Seafood jambalaya. Total cooking time, 1 hour 20 minutes. Serving size, 8. Ingredients: 2 tablespoons butter, 400 g andouille sausages, smoked, thinly cut. A healthy way to host a wine tasting. 8. 1 large green pepper, diced. 1 large white onion, diced. 3 stems celery, diced. 5 cloves of garlic, peeled and minced. Creole seasoning, to taste, preferably seafood. Salt and ground black pepper, to taste. 2 large tomatoes, chopped. 400 g prawns, peeled. 200 g sea baselets, diced. 600 g premium, long grain rice, rinsed well. 1.5 L water. 1 pint shelled oysters. 2 bunches green onions, thinly sliced. A 1/4 teaspoon chili sauce, or to taste. Creole seafood seasoning. 3 tablespoons iodized salt. 25 g powdered garlic. 25 g ground black pepper. 2 tablespoons cayenne pepper, or to taste. 1 tablespoons dried oregano. 1 tablespoons dried thyme. 2 tablespoons dried basil. 5 tablespoons paprika. 3 tablespoons granulated or powdered onion. Cooking instructions: 1 line a heavy gauge pot with butter over high heat, and saute sausage for 4 to 5 minutes. Add onion, garlic, peppers and celery and season with salt, pepper, and Creole seasoning. It is quite pungent, so just taste whilst cooking. You can always add a bit more. Stirring occasionally, saute for another 6 minutes. Still over high heat or until the vegetables have browned. 2 Stir in the tomatoes, prawns and bay leaf. Add the rice and water. Stirring gently. Make sure that the rice doesn't stick to the bottom of the pot by moving a spoon across. Bring to a boil, then reduce the heat and simmer for 15 minutes or until the rice is cooked. Turn over the heat, stir in the oysters, and let it simmer for 10 minutes. During this time, the jambalaya will continue to cook with the remaining heat. 3 Transfer into a big serving bowl, then add in the green onions. Season with chili sauce, Creole seafood seasoning, up to 500 milliliters yield. A healthy way to host a wine tasting. 9. Mix all ingredients in a blender or mixing bowl, and pour the emulsion into a large glass container. Seal the container, and make sure it's airtight. Wine. This is an interesting match, as this dish has a combination of meat, and seafood. You have a variety of options, from fresh, but delightfully full-bodied whites, unoaked white and shell chardonnay crying for one. Yet if you want to give some wine for thought, try pairing it with some young Tempranillo wine from Spain. Cool it down to 14°C, like what you will do to rose. It will prove to be richer, but also refreshing. You can try this ND, Spartico Tempranillo from Valencia, no sulfites added. Beef steak fillets with horseradish cream. Total cooking time, 33 minutes. Serving size, 6. Ingredients: 6 beef tenderloinlets, 2 inches thick each. 2 tablespoons all-purpose flour. 3 tablespoons butter. 335 milliliters fresh milk. 3 tablespoons prepared horseradish. Salt and pepper, to taste. 8 blades chopped onion chives. 125 milliliters dry sherry, optional. Cooking instructions. 1. Preheat oven to 180 degrees. 2. Season beef with salt and pepper. Heat a large non-stick, oven-safe pan over high heat. 3. Sear meat on the hot pan to caramelize, observing 3 minutes on each side, or less if your cuts are rather thinner. Transfer the meat to the oven and cook for 7 minutes for medium rare, or 12 minutes for well done. Result: 4. Melt butter over medium heat in a medium saucepan. Mix melted butter with flour and cook for 1 minute. Pour in milk and thicken to sauce consistency, then add chives, horseradish, pepper and salt. Transfer the sauce on a small serving bowl. 5. Take out meat from oven and move to a platter. Return the saucepan to the burner, and over moderate heat, deglaze it with dry sherry. Add remaining butter to the saucepan and pour the mixture on the steaklets. A healthy way to host a wine tasting. 10. Wine. This rather rich and spicy dish will need a spicy companion. I recommend Southwest France, Languedoc or Roussillon, or wines from Catalonia, Penedès, Montsant, Priorat. Think of some herbal and spicy notes, but also good body and complexity of flavors. How about this organic Priorat, Baronc dels Camellas? Roast duck with hoisin sauce. Total cooking time, 45 minutes. Serving size, 6. Ingredients: 6 deboned duck's breasts. 4 tablespoons soy sauce. 1 tablespoon VE spice powder. 2 tablespoons clear honey. I am allergic to honey, so used same amount of agave nectar. For the sauce: 600 g fresh chicken stock. 4 tablespoons hoisin sauce. 4 fresh ginger, thinly sliced, no need to peel. 1 teaspoon of sesame oil. Cooking instructions. 1. Release fat from the duck's skin by pricking it with a fork, or by scoring it. This also makes it easier to roast. Mix the soy, honey and VE spice in a large platter. Add the duck and coat it very well. Place it in the fridge until ready for roasting. 2. To make the sauce, put the duck stock into a skillet, add ginger and hoisin sauce. Bring to a boil for a few minutes until the mixture is smooth. Add sesame oil and set aside. 3. To serve, preheat the oven to 170 degrees. Get a roasting tin and pour a liter of water in the base, and place a rack over its top. This will stop the fat from the duck to drip onto the tin or the kitchen with smoke. Lift duck meat from the marinade and rearrange on a rack, the skin facing up. Set aside the remaining marinade for the rice dish. Roast the duck for 15 minutes. A healthy way to host a wine tasting. 11. If you would like it medium rare, or 25 minutes if well done. Slice each duck breast into half. Put some rice onto each plate, and top them with the halved duck breasts. Add remaining meat juices from the duck to the hoisin gravy, and spoon 1 or 2 over the duck. Serve the remainder gravy and rice separately. Wine. Some people like this rather fatty and sweet dish to match with rather contrasting peanut gris. It is white, a bit thicker than usual, but will contrast with its acidity to the sweetness of this dish. I, however, think that white wine is too thin and will be absolutely lost here. I suggest going to southwest France and sourcing a Côte du Rhône villages or Châteauneuf du Pape wines. Well, just have a stroll to your favorite retailer, and play it on some sweet spicy notes that present in those wines, but also on the powerful flavors. Have a look at Planet Organic, they have a few interesting Rhone reds, and let the battle begin. Baked rigatoni sausage, paired with Negro Maro. Total cooking time, 1 hour 15 minutes. Serving size, 8. Ingredients: 3 tablespoons extra virgin olive oil. Just under 350 g or approximate 6 links pork sausage. Salt, to taste. 1 large aubergine, cut into pieces. 3 cloves garlic, chopped. 1 large white onion, chopped. 400 g peeled whole tomatoes. 1 bunch fresh basil leaves. 400 g mozzarella. 400 g rigatoni. Ground black pepper, to taste. 200 g grated Parmigiano Reggiano. Cooking instructions: 1. Boil lightly salted water over high heat for the pasta. I personally cook without salt, but it is just me. Prepare a ceramic baking dish. 2. Heat olive oil in a large pan over medium heat. Toss in the sausages and saute for 3 to 4 minutes or until they are nicely brown on the outside but still raw on the inside. Put them in the baking dish and set aside. 3. Lower the heat a bit. Add oil to the pan and wait until hot. Add a single layer of aubergine pieces and sprinkle well with salt. Cook, occasionally stirring. A healthy way to host a wine tasting. 12. And turning for 7 minutes, until aubergine is crisp and browned. Using a spatula, transfer it into the baking dish with sausage. Cook the remaining aubergine pieces, oiling the pan a little more as needed, and transferring the cooked pieces into the baking dish. 4. Add more oil to the pan, then toss in onion and garlic, and cook for 4 minutes, until brown or translucent. Mix in the tomatoes with their juices into a bowl and crush them. Add the crushed tomatoes to the pan with basil leaves, and cook until thick and pulpy. This will take approximately 10 to 12 minutes over medium heat. 5. When the water is boiling, add the rigatoni and cook for 7 minutes, with occasional stirring. Do not cook until tender as it will cook further while in the oven. Set aside a cup of the water used for cooking, then drain the rigatoni. 6. Preheat the oven to 200 degrees. Slice the sausages into bite-sized, chunky bits and return them to the baking dish. Mix in tomato sauce and the reserved water along with the rigatoni. Half the mozzarella and sprinkle over the mixture. Add salt and pepper to taste, and gently mix with a spatula. Dust the mixture with Parmigiano and a bit more olive oil. Bake for 15 minutes. Spread the remaining half mozzarella evenly in a single layer and continue to bake for another 12 minutes, or until bubbly. Wine. This is a very creamy and satisfying recipe. It needs a proper Italian classic. It can be a super Tuscan Chianti, a milder Valpolicella or a powerhouse Barolo. As an option, have a few different ones and end out. What would you guests prefer, a more delicate touch or an explosion? These 3 were sourced from Majestic Wine. Check out if they are on sale and you can mix and match for further savings. A healthy way to host a wine tasting. 13. Chapter 3: Recipes for White Wine. The key thing for the white wine making is not to allow any skin contact. Grape juice is white, almost transparent, so you can produce white wines from red grapes. If You are unsure which ones are there apart from your favorite New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc. Then here are some more names: Colombard, Chenin Blanc, Muscat, Riesling, Semillon, Pinot Grigio, Chardonnay, which you probably already know. White wines generally have a crisp and fruity taste, much more simple than what you can get from reds, but making it a good pair choice for light dishes. Regardless of variety, white wines tend to pair better with green vegetables, turkey, and chicken. Whilst I will disagree that these could not be matched with reds, it is probably interesting to vary your wine courses and pair your light starter with the white wine. Variety is so healthy and entertaining. Another consideration in white wine pairings is its high acidity. Normally, white wines are more acidic than red wines, thus, the level of acidity should be taken into account and preferably be of a similar level, rather than a contrast. It is so easy to add a teaspoon of lemon juice to your course, quick stir fry, or even a salad. Newbie or not, let's check some recipes to go with white wines. Salmon cakes with lemon caper sauce. Total cooking time, 55 minutes. Serving size, 8. Ingredients: 1 pound salmonlet, skinless. 2 tablespoons olive oil, for sprinkling. Salt and pepper, to taste. Patties: 1 large egg, beaten. 3 tablespoons vegetable oil. 3 tablespoons unsalted butter. 15 g fresh chives, sliced. 26 freshwater crackers, crushed. 100 g frozen kernel corn, thawed. 2 tablespoons mustard. 3 tablespoons mayonnaise, add more as needed. 1 tablespoon capers, thawed and drained. 1 tablespoon lemon juice. 1 tablespoon lemon zest. A healthy way to host a wine tasting. 14. Sauce: salt and ground pepper, to taste. 100 milliliters half-fat unleavened yogurt. 1½ tablespoons capers, thawed and drained. 1 tablespoon lemon juice. 1 tablespoon lemon zest. Cooking instructions: 1 salmon, preheat a charcoal grill or put a grill pan, any sort of griddle will do, over medium heat. Sprinkle the salmon with olive oil and add salt and pepper, to taste. Grill it until the ish is cooked well and easily aches with a fork. The ish should be pinkish, that is how I prefer, as your is more avesome this way, but not raw, so make sure you do not cook it for more than 10 to 12 minutes. Set aside to cool for about 20 minutes. 2 patties, with a fork, ache the into half-inch pieces and transfer into a medium bowl. Add the beaten egg, half of the crushed crackers, chives, corn, mayonnaise, mustard, capers, lemon juice, and lemon zest. Mix gently until fully combined. Form the mixture into 2 patties that are ½ inch in diameter and about 3/4 inches thick. In case the mixture is too dry to form into patties, put additional mayonnaise, a tablespoon at a time. Coat the patties in the remaining crushed crackers and put in the fridge to cool for 1 hour. In a large non-stick pan, heat the butter and add oil over medium heat. Put in the patties and cook until crispy and golden, about 6 minutes per side. Drain the patties on paper towels just to remove some extra fat. 3 sauce: get a small bowl and combine the capers, yogurt, lemon juice, and lemon zest. Season with salt and pepper, to taste. 4. Arrange the salmon cakes on a big platter and serve with the sauce. The salmon can also be baked in an oven, 180 degrees. Sprinkle the salmon with olive oil and season with salt and pepper, to taste. Transfer into a baking dish and bake for 15 to 20 minutes or until cooked through. Wine, semolina will be a good choice. It would be a good pair with zesty and aromatic SH cakes. Have a look at Laithwaite's, they stock some fantastic Australian whites like this one from Hunter Valley. Chili prawn linguine. Total cooking time, 25 minutes. Serving size, 3. A healthy way to host a wine tasting. 15. Ingredients. 280 grams pasta linguine. 2 tablespoons olive oil. 200 grams sugar snap peas, trimmed. 2 cloves garlic, large, nelly chopped. 1 red chili, large, nelly chopped. 12 cherry tomatoes, halved. 24 large king prawns, peeled raw. 1 handful of fresh basil leaves. Mixed salad leaves and toasted white bread, to serve. Dressing. 2 tablespoons fat-free natural yogurt or fromage frais. 2 limes, zest grated and juice extracted. 2 tablespoons golden caster sugar. Cooking instructions. 1. Combine all dressing ingredients in a small mixing bowl, then season with salt and pepper, to taste. Set aside. 2. Cook the pasta following the instructions on the packet. Once al dente, add the sugar snap peas before turning of the heat. 3. Meanwhile, heat the oil in large skillet, toss in the garlic and chili and cook over a fairly low heat for about 30 seconds, making sure the garlic does not turn brown. Mix in the prawns and cook over high heat for about 3 minutes or until pink, stirring occasionally. 4. Dip in the tomatoes and cook for 3 minutes until they start to get soft. Drain the pasta with sugar snaps, then toss into the prawn mix. Tear the basil leaves and stir into the mixture. Season with salt and pepper, to taste. 5. Serve with salad leaves sprinkled with the lime dressing. Wine. Albarino from northwestern Spain provides this light peachy sweetness, full of herbal and oral notes, but most importantly it is refreshing and goes really well with prawns, no doubts about that. A healthy way to host a wine tasting. 16. Chapter 4. Recipes for rose wine. For a long time, rose wines have been out of fashion. It is predominantly because many people are not sure how to match them with food and simply buy them during warmer months as a light refreshment. Whereas there is nothing wrong with the latter, some producers started to add a more pronounced fruit in these light, but aromatic wines, which are not made by mixing whites and reds actually. On contrary, the process starts with simply getting black grapes, and crushing and pressing them with minimal skin contact, so you get that tiny amount of color to it, and then vinifying the wine without those skins, as opposed to reds. Good rose wines are not just perfect for picnics, but will match a wide variety of different foods. Here are some pointers for you to consider. Rose wines can be light or more pronounced both in aromas and others. Check how intense is the color. If it is closer to red, you can match it with meat and poultry. If it light, stick to salads, healthy snacks, and light starters. As a general rule, these wines are quite delicate, so avoid very robust others like eggs, garlic, rich sauces, especially based on full-fat cream. They will make the wine taste very thin. Roses can pair well with seafood, especially those dishes with minimal preparation time to make the seafood of as dominant. Roses never fail with summer salads. Stay away from bitter avars of kale and dandelion, and instead focus on lettuce, apples, clementines and other light citrus dressings. Tuna tataki. Total cooking time, 25 minutes. Serving size, 4. Ingredients: 25 g sesame seeds, 50 g minced ginger, 1 tablespoon ground black pepper, 200 g fresh, sushi-grade tuna, organic, yellow are best. Salt, to taste. 1 tablespoon lime juice. 3 tablespoons peanut oil, for searing. 1 ripe avocado, medium-sized, peeled, seeded, quartered and sliced. 12 thin slices red onion. 400 g mixed green vegetables. A healthy way to host a wine tasting. 17. 1 tomato, medium-sized, peeled, seeded, and diced. Ginger sauce. Ginger sauce. A half teaspoon fresh ginger, nelly grated. 1 small shallot, minced. Group black pepper, to taste. 100 ml soy sauce. 75 ml lime juice. 100 ml olive oil. Cooking instructions. 1. Mix together the sesame seeds, ginger and black pepper on a shallow platter. On a separate plate, season the tuna with salt. 2. Slice the tuna, about ½ inch each for easier slicing at the end. Roll it afterwards on the ginger mixture, pressing lightly until mixture sticks to the sh. 3. Place a medium skillet over high heat. Add the peanut oil and sear the sh on all sides, about 30 seconds on each side. Transfer the tuna to a serving dish and set aside. Deglaze the pan with lime juice, and then pour the lime juice on the tuna. 4. In a mixing bowl, combine tomatoes, the mixed greens, avocado, and red onion. Add some of the ginger sauce. Continue slicing the tuna, following the cuts made earlier. Place some of the dressed mixed greens on 4 plates. Top with sliced tuna and sprinkle with some more of the ginger sauce, to taste. Ginger sauce. Combine the ginger, shallot, a few pinches of pepper, lime juice and soy sauce in a small bowl. Whisk in the olive oil slowly and set aside. Once ready to serve, combine the mixture thoroughly. Wine, rose from Spanish upcoming region Bierzo will not disappoint. Pizarras de Otro is a true gem. It is intensely fruity with raspberry and red currant notes and some pleasant leafy ones to complement to the complexity of the dish. Tuna is quite a meaty but the tataki dish is so fresh and aromatic with ginger sauce, it will be spicy, fruity combination that should ignite your senses. Bouillabaisse. Total cooking time, 2 hours 45 minutes. A healthy way to host a wine tasting. 18. Serving size, 6. Ingredients: 4 tablespoons rapeseed oil. 18 mussels, scrubbed. 6 sea scallops, rinsed and patted dry. Salt and pepper, to taste. 6 medium halabutlets. 6 large red shrimp, with shells and heads. 3 lobster tails, about 3, boiled in salted water for 4 minutes, drained and halved lengthwise. Seafood stock. 50 g rapeseed oil. 225 ml white wine. 450 g raw prawn shells, heads and tails, rinsed well. 1 medium white onion, peeled and chopped. 1 medium carrot, chopped. 1 bay leaf. 1 medium celery stem, chopped. 2 large tomatoes, chopped. 10 sprigs at leaf parsley. A half teaspoon whole black pepper. Tomato aioli. 2 tablespoons extra concentrated tomato puree. 1 white onion, neatly sliced. 2 anchovies, drained and neatly chopped. 100 g mayonnaise. 2 teaspoons tomato paste. A half lemon, juice and zest extracted. Salt and pepper, to taste. Anchovy butter. 4 tablespoons butter. 6 anchovies, drained and neatly chopped. Salt and pepper, to taste. Broth. 2 tablespoons rapeseed oil. 1 small white onion, halved and thinly sliced. 1 small head fennel, halved and neatly sliced. 100 milliliters pastis, you can use sherry, but it won't be that aromatic. 400 to 500 g plum tomatoes, about 1 can, but can be 2 if there is too much of. A healthy way to host a wine tasting. 19. Liquid, drained. Pinch of saffron. 1 head garlic, halved crosswise. Pinch of Calabrian chili flakes, use regular one, would be okay. To serve. 2 tablespoons fresh tarragon, include more for garnish, chopped. 50 g at leaf parsley, include more for garnish, chopped. 1 teaspoon lemon zest, neatly grated. 6 slices baguette, each about a ½ inch thick, lightly toasted. Fresh chives, for garnish, neatly chopped. A note for my cooking oil suggestions, I use rapeseed oil, because you can ND. Good British rapeseed oils, why not to buy local, which are 30% less in saturated fat than olive oil. Also, olive oil doesn't like scorching heat, so I use it mostly to dress salads or to sprinkle on top of the dish for an additional flavor. Also try coconut oil, it is the best oil to cook on high temperatures, will give a bit of coconut flavor, but not that much to overpower your roasted potatoes or poultry. Cooking instructions. 1 seafood stock, put a large saucepan over high heat, pour oil and wait until hot. Toss in prawn shells and tails, carrot, onion and celery, and saute for 5 minutes. Add the wine and cook until reduced by half. Pour 2 l of cold water. Then add parsley, bay leaf, tomatoes, and peppercorns. Bring to a boil then. Reduce heat to medium-low. While simmering, skim occasionally for about 40 minutes. 2. Strain the stock, pressing on the solids to extract as much broth as possible. This can be prepared 2 days in advance and refrigerated. It can last up to 3 months. 3. Broth, heat oil in a large pan over high heat, and cook the onion and fennel until translucent. Mix in pastis and simmer for 5 minutes or until reduced by half. Add the tomatoes, chili, saffron and 2 cups shrimp stock. Boil, add the garlic and cook for 10 minutes. Add additional 4 cups of seafood stock. Reduce the heat and cook until the broth is slightly reduced. Strain the broth into a large bowl, remove the solids and pour the liquid back into the pan. Set aside. 4 tomato aioli, in a small mixing bowl, combine anchovies, mayonnaise, tomato powder, tomato paste, white onion, lemon juice and zest, salt and pepper. Refrigerate for 30 minutes. 5 anchovy butter, Combine the anchovies and melted butter in a small bowl. Season with salt and pepper and refrigerate for 20 minutes until solid again. 6. Seafood, heat oil in wok. Season the scallops with salt and pepper and sear. A healthy way to host a wine tasting. 20. On one side until browned. Turn over and cook for another 30 seconds, then remove. Do the same for the halibutlets and prawns. Deglaze the pan with a cup of the prawn tomato broth, then move the liquid back into the pan. 7. Heat the pan with prawn tomato broth over high heat. Toss in the mussels. Cover and cook for about 2 minutes. Remove the mussels with a slotted spoon and remove any that did not open. Add the seared seafood and lobster tails to the broth, cover and simmer for 2 minutes. 8. To serve, mix the anchovy butter with the shrimp tomato broth and simmer until thickened. Add the tarragon, lemon zest and parsley. Generously spread each slice of baguette with tomato aioli and garnish with onion chives. Divide the seafood and broth among 6 soup bowls. Garnish each with a tomato aioli, crouton and sprinkle with more tarragon or parsley or onion chives, as desired. Wine. This dish is rich with seafoodivores and herby. At the same you have spent a fortune on these lobster tails, so you deserve a matching treat as a rose wine. Sancerre is the answer. It is mineral, light and refreshing, and summery beautiful. With elegant charm of Loire Valley. Longanish creams quality. See it for yourself. Provençal vegetable soup. Total cooking time, 1 hour 20 minutes. Serving size, 6. Ingredients. 2 tablespoons extra virgin olive oil. 2 large white onions, chopped. 4 leeks, white and light green parts, chopped. 600 g unpeeled boiling potatoes, diced, each about 1/4/2 inch. 600 g carrots, each about 1/4/2 inch. 1 teaspoon ground black pepper. 1½ tablespoons salt. 3.5 L chicken stock. 125 g green beans, ends removed and halved. 1 teaspoon saffron threads. 120 g spaghetti, cut into pieces. 225 milliliters pesto. Grated Parmesan cheese, for serving. Pesto. 4 garlic cloves, large. 24 pieces medium basil leaves. 50 g tomato paste. 50 g grated Parmesan cheese. A healthy way to host a wine tasting. 21. 50 g cup olive oil. Cooking instructions. 1. Heat the olive oil in a large wok, add the onions, and saute for 10 minutes. Over low heat for 10 minutes. Toss the potatoes, leeks, carrots, salt, and pepper and cook over medium heat for 5 minutes. Pour in the chicken, saffron and stock, bring to a boil, then simmer until vegetables are tender. About 10 minutes. Add the spaghetti and haricots verts, then simmer for 15 minutes. 2. To serve, add 100 milliliters of the pesto into the hot soup, then season with salt and pepper to taste. Add more salt depending on the saltiness of your chicken stock. Serve with more pesto and grated Parmesan cheese. Pesto, 1 cup yield. Puree the garlic, basil, tomato paste and Parmesan cheese. With the blender motor is running, pour in olive oil down the feed tube to thicken the mixture until paste like. Pour into a sealable container and close the lid. Wine. a true Provençal classic requires what Provence is famous for, rose wines. Minati Cuvée Prestige 2014 Côtes de Provence is a typical rose that will be brilliant. It will be a bit too light for the above bouillabaisse, but to be served with this soup, as an aperitif to it, would be just right. A healthy way to host a wine tasting. 22. Chapter 5 Recipes for Sparkling Wine. Champagne, a type of sparkling wine, is the classic choice for celebrations and special occasions. In fact, when you ask most wine lovers of what their wine choice would be in a desert island situation, it would most probably be cold champagne. 3 characteristics that add depth to a sparkling wine's fruitivor is minerality, yeasty or bread-like avers, and high level of acidity. Sparkling wine's acid content cuts through fatty and overfull dishes and can neutralize even high acid ingredients such as apple cider vinegar and fruit sauces. Not to mention, of course, that a little bit of sparkle adds a festive feel to any event. Sparkling wines are perfect to complement a laid-back weekend lunch, but can also serve as a cocktail drink for formal soirees. The food pairing possibilities of sparkling wines are almost limitless. The following is a selective list of easy-to-prepare and healthy recipes to pair with sparklers. Whether served at home or at any outdoor picnic, party, or even at work, these pairings are sure to enhance your sensory experience. Do not be surprised of the rest of them. There is a way how to make pate sound posh and exciting. Try it with the sparkler and see how it goes down. When made from scratch, it can be an exciting starter, made with care and some additional booze. Exciting chicken liver pate. Total cooking time, 6 hours 40 minutes. Serving size, 6. Ingredients: 400 g fresh chicken livers, 200 g cold butter, cut into small pieces, 225 ml milk, a half teaspoon salt, 2 teaspoons garlic, minced, 2 bay leaves, 200 g white onions, chopped, 2 tablespoons black peppercorns, 1 teaspoon thyme leaves, chopped, a half teaspoon black pepper, freshly ground, 50 ml cognac, 1 handful fresh parsley leaves, for garnish, French bread croutons or toasts, French cornichons, as accompaniment, optional. A healthy way to host a wine tasting. 23. Cooking instructions. 1. Soak the chicken livers in milk in a medium bowl for about 2 hours. Drain well. 2. Melt 4 tablespoons of the butter in a large skillet over medium to high heat. Mix in the onions and cook until soft, continuously stirring for about 3 minutes. Add the garlic and cook until golden brown, or for about 30 seconds. Add the chicken livers, thyme, the bay leaves, salt, pepper and 1 tablespoon of the peppercorns. Cook for about 5 minutes, occasionally stirring, until the livers are cooked on the outside but still pinkish on the inside. Pour in the cognac and cook until only a little liquid is left and the livers are cooked enough but still tender. 3. Remove pan from the heat and let cool slightly. Remove the bay leaves so as not to overpower the dish. 4. In an electronic mixer, puree the chicken liver mixture. Add the remainder of the butter and continue to blend. Add the remaining tablespoon of peppercorns and season with salt, to taste. 5. Mold the pate into 6 ramekins, observing about 4 ounces each. Cover with plastic LM and refrigerate until RM. This may take at least 6 hours. 6. To serve, place the ramekins on serving plates, 1 each. Sprinkle with parsley and surround with French croutons and cornichons. I am not in favor of the classic method when you cover your pate with a thick layer of butter. It is healthier without it. Wine. Pate is a robust starter, you need something that is more aggressive rather than your aristocratic champagne. Try Cloudy Bay Pelorus NV from New Zealand. It is made from Chardonnay grapes and delivers a powerful apple together with yeasty complexity. Try it. Cloudy Bay is not just for Sauvignon Blancs. Balsamic melon salad. Total cooking time, 2 minutes. Serving size, 4. Ingredients: 2 tablespoons extra virgin olive oil. A healthy way to host a wine tasting. 24. 800 g fresh melons, cut into bite-size pieces. 1 teaspoon black pepper, freshly cracked. 2 teaspoons balsamic vinegar. A half teaspoon chili powder. 2 teaspoons fresh basil leaves, about 4, chopped. Cooking instructions: 1. Toss together all salad ingredients in a large bowl, excluding basil leaves. Place in serving bowl and garnish with basil. 2. Chill for 15 minutes. Serve cold. As an option, serve it with the torn pieces of Italian Parma ham. This is how they do it, why shouldn't you try as well? Fruit will complement the saltiness of cured ham really well. Wine. If you are a fan of Prosecco, give it a try. I suggest making a test drive. If you serve Prosecco and something else from Italy, say San Leosti NV, you can try both and compare. The latter is a more frivolous style. It is very aromatic and grapey, such a good match for fruity starters. Smoked eel, sturgeon and caviar salad with dill. Buttermilk dressing. FYI, sturgeon is the SH. Total cooking time, 58 minutes. Serving size, 4. Ingredients: 200 g all-purpose hour. 170 ounces smoked sturgeon, nicely ached. 220 g smoked eel, cut into 1-inch pieces. 100 g cup red onions, sliced. 2 tablespoons onion chives, snipped. 2 tablespoons champagne vinegar, try good quality white wine instead. 2 tablespoons rapeseed oil. A 1/4 teaspoon black pepper, ground. A 1/4 teaspoon salt. 30 g caviar. 230 g lettuce, rinsed and patted dry. Essence: dilled buttermilk dressing. Essence: a healthy way to host a wine tasting. 25. 2 tablespoons salt. 1 tablespoon black pepper, ground. 2½ tablespoons paprika. 2 tablespoons garlic powder. 1 tablespoon dried leaf oregano. 1 tablespoon onion powder. 1 tablespoon cayenne pepper. 1 tablespoon dried thyme. Dilled buttermilk dressing. 1 large egg. 1½ teaspoons fresh dill, nelly chopped. 200 milliliters rapeseed oil. 110 milliliters buttermilk. 2 tablespoons lemon juice, freshly squeezed. 3/4 teaspoon salt. A 1/4 teaspoon black pepper, ground. Cooking instructions: 1. Put a frying pan over a medium heat. 2. Season the all-purpose hour with essence and transfer into a shallow platter. Coat the eel in the seasoned oil, removing any excess. 3. Fry the coated eel for about 3 minutes until golden brown. Transfer to a plate lined with paper towels. 4. In a mixing bowl, combine the sturgeon, vinegar, oil, onions, chives, a spoonful of the buttermilk dill dressing, salt, and pepper, and gently toss. 5. In a separate bowl, combine oil, salt, pepper, vinegar, and sprinkle over the lettuce. Distribute the lettuce among 4 large salad plates, about a quarter head each. Place the sturgeon mixture over the lettuce, and top with the eel. Sprinkle each plate with 3 spoonfuls of the buttermilk dressing. Place a teaspoon of the caviar in the center of the plate. Essence, 150 to 170 ml yield. Mix all ingredients thoroughly and store in an airtight container. This can last up to 2 weeks. Dressing, 280 to 300 ml yield. To prepare the dressing, mix the egg and dill in the bowl and transfer to a food processor or a mixer. Blend on high speed for about 15 seconds until smooth. With the machine motor is on, add oil in the tube feed and process until an emulsion is formed. Transfer the mixture to a small bowl and whisk in the lemon juice. A healthy way to host a wine tasting. 26. Buttermilk, and salt and pepper, to taste. Wine, eel is a daring choice, I agree, but if you want to surprise your guests and tantalize their senses, then why not? As for the wine match, you may consider splashing out and serving this rich dish with a classic Paul Roger Reserve. Superb quality and extra NE mousse guaranteed. A healthy way to host a wine tasting. 27. Your own food and wine pairing journey. Like every wine expert would say, food and wine pairing does not need to be a rocket science. Actually, it is more art than science, and is rather a matter of personal taste. There are no rules set in stone, you should think about it more like a recommendation. Just trust your palate, and you will eventually learn the art of pairing condently and be able to host a healthy wine tasting event. This selection of recipes discussed earlier aims to help you on your journey with food and wine pairing. Remember that your end goal as a host is to create an experience for your guests, and for yourself, and, of course, enjoy good wine with a food cooked from scratch. That is what I say, a healthy and happy wine lifestyle. It is social, exciting, and somewhat of a learning experience every time. If you want a quick recap on the guidelines, here they are. 1. Complement of us. Contrast is a more risky business, but be adventurous and daring after you've tried some good complementing dishes. 2. Choose similar textures and weights. The mood of your party, and the weight of your dishes should be also a match. They can either be light, medium or rich. The idea is to match the strength of others of your dishes, wines and also your audience. 3. Consider the other pairing components: sweetness, saltiness, bitterness, fattiness, and acidity. The right combination of these can bring out a delightful dining experience. I hope you enjoyed this mini ebook. Please visit www.iblamethuin.com to leave comments, and I wish you the best of luck in your pairing journey.